Take a sip.
Let me just make sure
And take it from the top.
Going.
I'm thinking about
It honestly
so
wouldn't be
much.
an episode if we didn't have to restart the intro at least once.
How many takes did I need last time?
I literally looked at you
That was
guys
the
with
funniest fucking
pure
thing.
desperation. Help me. What do I say?
I think you're also gonna just looking like, am I doing okay? Like,
Yeah. You need validation. Yeah. Okay, you got this.
all right, here we go. Alrighty, welcome back, Big Time Stuff, Season 3, Episode 4. Hope everyone's well.
I hope this podcast is finding you well.
I hope you're in a state of well-being and gratitude this morning. Everyone do their gratitude journal. I'm talking to you.
Setting our intentions for the day.
Sounds
roll
actually a
with
good interlude into our work.
Yeah, honestly, let's just go with it.
Okay,
We hope you're well,
we
stuffers.
hope you're well. This episode, we're gonna give you a little bit more live.
Power off.
Push through.
my
Push through.
Push and pee. Here we go.
Get it together. Okay.
Should we slap you?
This episode, we're going to give you some more Love Island. We're going to go over the much anticipated double date that Katie and Claire went on.
Tea.
But first, we're going to give you a little update on what we've been up to this week since we last
Recorded.
recorded. I almost said spoke with you. So here we go.
Oh my god. Correspondence version is not. Oh my, what the fuck am I saying? Okay.
No, we've got the disease. It's like the cheese touch. As soon as you speak next, it's only a matter of time until you crumble.
Okay.
Oh, my lord.
Well, I feel like a lot of things have actually happened in the past week, and I don't know, like Hannah has some fun updates for y'all.
Oh, yeah. Good one. Okay, I'm no longer unemployed.
Woo!
Scream it from the rooftops.
As of just a couple hours ago, too.
Yeah, just a couple hours ago.
Hot off the press.
Short stint of unemployment. We enjoyed it while it lasted. Besides that, I almost got hit by a car this past weekend.
What night was that? Was that Friday?
Friday, I think.
Friday night.
Yep.
Every night that you meet up at a wine bar kind of goes like this. You're just drinking some wine. You think you're going to go home. It never happens. Once you're down a bottle of wine, you're in and buckled up for the night. It's like
But Friday
bunkering.
night was like the epitome of the cheesy, I'll just go out for one drink.
Just one happy hour drink.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And
It's
then
like you think you
we're-
can control yourself, but when you're 2 wine glasses in, you can't.
Yeah.
But we were ripping shooters.
We were on our way to the local bodega to rip some fireball shots, as we do. And we were just
Surprise, surprise.
blindly crossing the street. And this car just comes zooming up, as it should. It had the right
The
way.
green light, right.
Right, yeah. So can't get too mad at it. But all of a sudden, Hannah's last words, what would have been her last words if the car did in fact hit us,
The most unfitting.
the most un-Hannah words I hear in the back of my ear, motherfucker, no.
No, we need some context. Katie walks streets without looking. It could be
Wah, wah.
2 seconds left on the
She's
crosswalk.
bold, she's
It
brave.
could be full on, like full speed ahead traffic, and Katie is just
Darton.
darting across the street. No matter who's behind her, no matter who's trailing her. So trailing,
Well, we always end up trailing.
we always end up trailing.
We're like a little duck trail of bitties trying to cross
Mama
the
duck and the 2 babies.
street. And she looks back and she's like, come on, y'all.
No,
We coulda made
actually,
that.
literally scrutinizes us for not wanting to throw our bodies in front of cars. So
Fair enough. Straight like you mean it.
Katie's walking across the street. It doesn't look like there's cars. There's parked cars on either side of the street. So it doesn't seem like there's any oncoming
It's an
traffic.
unassuming intersection.
So I'm trailing along Mother Duck, and boom, car.
Enter car. Enter Hannah's dying parting words.
So it was guttural. I don't know. I didn't have any
It was
control.
deep. That's
It
the
was
thing.
deep. Like, I wasn't even exaggerating. It was a deep.
Motherfucker, no!
Like, it sounded
slow-mo.
It
slow-mo.
felt slow-mo.
It was. I haven't laughed that hard. It
We're
was so,
just like,
like, was that
it was
Jean?
more stunning than the car almost hitting you.
It really was.
It was.
Yeah.
so funny?
So as you can imagine, that's the catchphrase we've been beating to death over the past week.
Motherfucker, no. And we encourage you to try it at home.
It's a fun one.
Yeah. So those are my 2 updates. I think people are more excited to hear about your
Well,
voodoo nuptials.
stop it.
Hannah is, mixing up a little bit of the terminology of an event we attended.
Your healing journey. I'm sorry.
Voodoo nuptials.
Gosh, this woman.
Well, I couldn't. So they went to a Reiki retreat, and I couldn't remember the word Reiki. And if you know
so
me,
naturally, she landed on when's your guys' voodoo nuptials?
Cricket.
We go humana hoo-ha. Voodoo, what now?
God. So anywho,
Sorry.
we
Sorry, not sorry.
Anyway, we went to a wellness retreat. One could call it. There was many aspects. There was meditation, there was Reiki, there was journaling, and we made bouquets of flowers. Like, honestly, it's such a beautiful day and a beautiful experience.
It sounded lovely.
But, you know, we're a little bit fresher on the scene to our healing journey. You're a little bit more advanced than I. But we had a couple thoughts that just kept, like, looming.
we
in
were
the
a
back
little bit
my
out of
head.
our comfort zone. I'm so glad we did it, and it was a very beautiful day. But also, so POV, Claire and I are laying on the floor, and we're about to like do this like crazy breath work experience, which I had never done breath work before. But apparently, it's like it mimics the feeling of psychedelics.
Yeah.
And oh my lord, it was like actually the craziest experience
thing.
ever. Yeah. We could have been laying on the floor for 30 minutes. We could have been laying on the floor for
I couldn't
3
tell you how
hours.
long it
I
was.
couldn't tell you. I literally like
I would have spiraled.
zoned out.
I fell asleep at one point, actually. Straight Z's.
But yeah, the breathwork thing was actually so insane. They did like sound baths, which I had also never done like a sound bath thing before. And it was all just really a wild experience, but really, really cool. And then we journaled a little bit afterwards, and yeah, it was wild.
I feel like I would have needed my inhaler during the breath work.
Honestly, you probably would have.
No,
Like,
it was
so
crazy.
wild.
It was like you breathe so fast that you're getting so much oxygen that your hands and your face like start quivering and going numb. Like I couldn't feel. I was convinced my pinky was a goner.
Oh gosh.
My like ass fell asleep, and I was like, "This is the weirdest sensation." Then I did fall asleep, but like while we're in the midst of breath work, right? You're like trying to like just relax your mind and like visualize like something peaceful, like get in the zone, like kind of what you try to do with meditation, where you're like thinking about nothing, but you're just leaning in. And I kept having this persistent nagging little thought about how good ramen sounded after, and I'm like, maybe pork ramen, like maybe chicken ramen, I don't know, but like the broth sounds so good, like what toppings could we get? Like maybe I'm hoping I can convince Katie to get ramen after, and then I'd be like, shut up, like snap out of it, you can't be thinking about ramen, you're supposed to be thinking about nothing, you're supposed to be healing and breathing and leaning in, and all you can think about is ramen.
Meanwhile, 2 bodies over, I'm laying there thinking the exact same fucking thing. And I'm like, Catherine, get your head in the fucking game. Like, you paid for this beautiful experience, and all you can think about is your next fucking meal. Like, this is why you're chubby. Like,
No,
get
literally.
it together, sister.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, no wonder you struggle.
No,
all
no,
you're
struggle.
thinking,
Please.
You're
in your
supposed to be
absent mind.
so zen, mind blank, nothing
Food.
behind those eyes, and all I've got
Food.
is ramen in my head, and how I'm going to like approach the subject and like propose it to Claire in the most convincing way that we should get ramen after this experience.
And we were both literally thinking about how we could convince each other. And the best part is like, we're not next to each other during this. And this girl, before we start, is like, oh, like, did you guys want to be next to each other? And we're like, oh, no, that's okay. Like, we see each other all the time. And she was like, well, I just don't want to be like an energy blocker for you two. But like, we telepathically, you know, skipped over her body.
Skipped over her body. Energy pathways were so strong. Firing
Literally
ramen.
Amazing.
And then after we finish, we're journaling and like fixing our flowers. And I'm like,
I like come over to Claire and like sit down, and we're both just like kind of like making small talk, you know, talking about how cool that experience was, and then like
yeah, the
Claire-
wildness of it all.
Claire lightly broaches the subject. It's like, would you like maybe want to get some ramen? And I about shouted in this like peaceful Brooklyn apartment, oh my god, I was gonna ask you too if you wanted to get ramen. We're like freaking out. Like that was like probably the craziest experience of it all, was that we communicated that
That's
we
one
both
of the
wanted
craziest
ramen.
takeaways.
It really was.
So we got ramen.
So we got ramen. It was
And
delicious.
it was pretty good.
But it was a crazy experience all in all.
It was awesome. Would highly recommend. It's one of those things you zoom out a little bit and you're like, oh my god, I'm in this like beautiful ass loft in Brooklyn. Like, this is exactly what people talk about when they think like what
There I
people
was doing ayahuasca in Bushwick, and I didn't know how
literally.
I got there.
I was like, this is adjacent to that, but like I'm leaning in and I'm loving it and I'm having a great ass time and would highly recommend.
Highly recommend.
Hell yeah.
It was so cool.
No, after I heard about it, I was like, all right, this sounds cool.
Yeah.
I just can't remember the words, the names.
I would
the
die if
anything.
you were like in the sharing circle after and you're like, that voodoo was crazy.
This voodoo, I think, has changed my life. And
Oh wait, you need to talk about the journal entries. Like after
Oh my gosh.
we're doing these
guys.
journal prompts, and
I
this
need to
woman,
get real.
no, it's so fucking funny. This woman is like, wrote the most beautiful paragraph about the shared experience we had. Like, should be a poet, a
Like
writer.
it was so beautiful, and like she shares it with the whole group, and then I take a look at. I reflected on what I wrote immediately after this insane breath work, sound bath, Reiki experience that I had. And the first line in my journal is, wow, that was a trip. Wow, period. That was a trip.
I would have died if you shared that with the group. She's like, we are one breath, we are like together, we are free. And Katie's like,
Katie confidently stands up. That was a motherfucker trip.
Shit was
well,
crazy.
what I wrote was, wow, period. That was a trip, period.
Shit was crazy.
Shit was crazy. It was. Katie saw colors.
I saw colors.
I saw ramen.
God.
Well,
It was vivid.
Oh.
voodoo.
Voodoo. And that's what we've been up to.
Nice.
That's what we've been up to.
That isn't the only thing that you two have been up to.
Well, yes, we do have so many dating updates between
So many.
the double date. Well, in our record book, like huge. We've been booked and busy.
Huge.
The
Big
past
week.
week. The past week.
No, my mom has called me every morning because she's an avid listener. Truly, the people that are big time stuffers, like the loyalty program stems from all corners of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
But she calls me every morning asking, how is the date? How is the date? But
I've never had so many people invested
No.
in a date I've ever gone on because I own many. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But so today I was scrolling on TikTok, as you do, and I saw a TikTok that was like from this teacher, and she was like, if anyone else went through like a ridiculous Titanic phase as a kid and is wondering if that, like, did you guys see this one? It was
No.
like,
I've seen this.
it was like, she was like, if anyone else is wondering like if kids today still go through that phase, like,
saw
I'm here to
this.
tell you all of my students are literally going through their biggest Titanic phase.
really?
Did you go through a Titanic phase?
It's
No.
fascinating. The ship of dreams.
It's
Oh my gosh.
fascinating.
Claire's a Titanic textbook sitting in her room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lent it to Katie, and then I found it in my room again. So I
Next
think,
day.
think she vetoed
The
that
Ship
one.
of Dreams just was a little dense, and I wasn't ready for it.
What, the glossary was half the book.
That's true. It's true, but still, it was dense.
We saw Titanic on the big screen in 3D a couple weeks ago.
I don't even know if we talked about if we already
Life-changing.
did. Apologies, but like it was the most beautiful experience ever because it was like 25th anniversary or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was in 3D?
3D.
3D.
Stunning.
Wait, you see the
Stunning.
iceberg and the Titanic hit
Yes.
3D?
Like, honestly, not so kabatso.
That's Okabatsu. But on that trail, did you guys have like any obvious? I mean, I went through a Titanic phase, but aside from that, did you guys have like a crazy out there childhood phase? Like, what was your?
Oh, God. I feel like it was all a phase, to be honest.
I had a theater kid phase.
Please.
tell.
Full fledged. Everything.
Shocker.
What age?
Shocker. Oh, it lasted a little longer than I'd like to admit.
Wait, no, I love that.
And that's why you're the talented woman that you are today. Like, let's be honest.
I went through a theater kid phase too.
Yeah, as did I.
Yeah, Musical Theater Village in Irvine. Shout
MTV.
out MTV. It started in elementary school. I want to say my first play was in 3rd grade, and then it lasted through 6th or 7th grade.
Wait, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
What was your favorite role and biggest role?
My biggest role. This was the lead child
Where's this going?
role.
Okay.
So
Lead
it was a big
child.
deal, and I got this 2 to 3 years in a row. I can't remember if it was 2 or it was 3.
Reigning champ.
I was the Ghost of Christmas Past in our annual rendition of A Christmas Carol.
Wait,
Love.
fun.
It was such a cool production. I came in this little beautiful white gown with a blue cape, and I was all stoic, and I had the bitch face rocking, and I had like 8 lines, but it was all about the facial expressions.
Sorry, I'm
scaring
getting
me
really
so
scared
much.
about the wine glass on my computer.
You're scaring the shit out of me.
Sorry.
Gina's as she's using hand gestures to explain this story.
It's like
she has a
barely
wine glass
blazing around the glass.
balancing on Claire's keyboard.
Anyway.
Okay, bitch face as a
Sorry.
child.
Bitch face. It had its own little
RBF 8-year-old.
it had its own little solo, but what makes it a full phase is I was fully into Broadway theater. Like all of my Christmas presents, my birthday presents were going to Broadway shows, live
cool.
shows. I would bring the posters that they were making to advertise our different plays, and I would hang them in classrooms around campus. Like,
Love that.
it was a little extra, but I was there like 4 or 5 times a week. It was my life. I loved it.
That's
amazing.
Awesome. Did you ever think about doing it in high school?
No, because I got out of theater because in high school you needed to play sport, and I was like, ugh.
You had to?
Yeah,
you had to do
or you had to
PE.
do PE.
We didn't get out of PE.
Really?
You had to do PE and a sport.
And a sport.
Whoa.
Wait, wish
Oh,
I could
that
have gotten out of
sucks.
that.
No, so 6th grade, I was like, oh, crap. I'm going to have to do a sport in high school. And because I don't want to do PE. I mean, the only people that did PE were noobs. So,
And like your like PE units would be like square dancing. Like it wasn't
Oh,
like
I know.
you know.
Believe me, I know. God, that's horrible.
Most
Yeah.
athletic.
so that's when I started dance. And then dance took up too much time. So I kissed my theater kid dreams goodbye.
I think like theater is
I
just
wish
a
I
gorgeous
stuck
moment.
with theater. Like it's so
It's so fun.
But you can't do a sport and theater. Like I feel like that was like the hardest thing.
No.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like we all had our little theater moment.
Yeah. Wait. What was your theater moment?
I always did like theater camp in elementary school.
Theater
Oh my, it was so fun.
fun.
I loved it. And then, cause like, okay, and then in middle school, weird. I don't know why, how this worked out, because I feel like this is never the case anywhere else. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you were in musical theater at my middle school, you were the shit. Like everyone wanted to do musical theater. Like we had 6 different class periods of musical theater, and there was like 40 kids in each. Like it was the
gosh.
most sought after elective you could be. Like I'm talking about like the cute jock guys were in musical theater. Like it was everyone wanted to be in musical theater, which I think
fun.
like made it so fun because
Yeah.
there was no embarrassment about like leaning in. Like it honestly was just like
You know why?
cool.
I think it's because of Glee. Glee
Yes.
normalized theater and normalized the arts.
Yeah.
It really destigmatized having a interest in any of that, where before it was just purely sports.
Did you guys watch Glee?
Of course.
You did?
Oh my gosh.
only
I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to watch after the Madonna episode.
That's iconic.
Yeah. My mom did
It's
not
tough.
like that one either,
I
but I
started
kind
watching
of
in
kept
college.
watching. I remember me and my best friend at the time, we would watch every Tuesday, and then Wednesday or whatever day after it released, we would get in the car for carpool, and the entire time we would just dominate the conversation about what happened in Glee. And we were in carpool with 3 other guys that were so shy and didn't talk. And so normally the car ride was super awkward because they weren't talking, we weren't friends, the moms were only friends, and we're all just kind of like sitting there like, oh, can't wait to get out of here. But then Wednesday morning it was Chirp City because Glee was the topic of conversation.
Car came alive.
Car came alive.
Carpool karaoke.
I loved it. Did you guys hear that they might be doing a revival of Glee?
Really?
Yes.
I'm so over revivals.
I know.
And redos and remakes and everything.
The original.
Let it live as it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure they'll do a good job. Yeah. What was your crazy phase?
Okay. So
Here we go.
when I was probably like, I want to say like 8. 7 feels too young. 9 feels too old. So I'm going to land on 8. I was obsessed with Japanese culture, but not in an accurate way, in just a way that I interpreted Japanese culture to be. Like, my best friend was Japanese. I only wore Japanese cherry blossom like perfume and Bath and Body Works products every single
Super
time
Japanese.
there
The
was
epitome of Japanese.
no, because I'm like, well, it's Japanese.
I literally
so-
remember what it looks like.
Yes. Oh yeah, the like branch.
Yep, the branch with the red.
Mhm.
Yep.
Every school project I found an angle to somehow make it about Japan.
Oh my god.
I went to a birthday party at this place called Olivia's Tea House, which was like,
I went to Olivia's Tea House.
it's the best birthday
It's
party
so
place.
cute.
It's like you do tea with your friends, but then you also like before that you all get to pick an outfit in this like
up.
crazy huge dressing room. It's like a little like a girl's dream. Like there's
They
probably
do don't they do your makeup and
They
your
do your
hair?
makeup and
So
your
it's
hair.
the classier version of Libby Lou.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not
obviously.
putting you out in downtown Disney, making you strut with your belly
With your
button
belly
out.
out and your Y2K ass hair.
I went to way too many Libby Lou birthday
yeah,
parties.
but those were also so hype.
I went to one and my dad brought me, bless his soul. My dad was like, "What are we doing at this birthday party?"
No, it's crazy. It's like little thoughty central. They've got like blue eyeshadow, sparkles in their hair, the little headset microphone. Like that was everything.
I remember I had to wear the not bikini version, like the tankini version, the part that showed your belly button, but it covered most of your stomach because my mom didn't like the.
Oh God.
I think that might have been when I became body dysmorphic
Right.
aware, because I was like, oh fuck, like there's like the bin of like outfits, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta get something to cover this belly. Like what the fuck am I gonna
Literally,
wear?
I'm like, how do you tuck it in
like,
places?
I am a different size than these girls.
I had a Libby Lou Rainforest Cafe birthday party. It was awesome. It was so
That
awesome.
sounds so incredible.
But
Okay,
anyway,
anywho,
so
Japan.
you get to dress up, right? And everyone is wearing these cute little princess dresses, and this is so horrible. But like, I insist on being dressed like a geisha. Like, my God, like, thank God we're educated on cultural appropriation now. But like, honestly, the intention was appreciation because
Yes.
I was
Obsessed.
obsessed. I wanted to eat sushi for genuinely every meal. Like anytime we went out to dinner, it was like sushi all the way. Like I had a problem. I wanted only Harajuku doll perfume for like it was a problem.
Gosh.
So I can't wait to go to Japan one day and
We gotta
just
go.
fulfill my like 8-year-old dreams. But
Douse your body in
I
cherry
was
blossom
obsessed.
perfume.
Obsessed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So.
That's such a good one. And you loved all the anime movies too, right?
Oh yes, I would watch, and like that's not even Japanese. I thought Hello Kitty was Japanese. Like I just was so misinformed about what was
it all.
and wasn't Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as it came off as Japanese to me, I was like, hell yeah! Like I obsess. Bizarro, but
That's hilarious.
yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And like honestly, still obsessed. Like I still love all those things.
You've been saying you want. You do love your sushi.
I love sushi, and I want to go so bad. So
Oh God.
8-year-old me will be screaming in Japan.
Release that inner child girl.
Well, I feel like I had a few. One.
This doesn't shock me in the slightest.
One just like side note, I was obsessed with hippos when I was little. Like I have still, like I wouldn't let my parents throw them. Actually, I think I threw a couple away. But there's still a box at my parents' new house full with probably like 50 stuffed animal hippos. Like I was obsessed with hippos.
Wait, that's so cute.
Like I had Peace, Love, and Hippo like shirts, like I Heart Hippos, like everything. Like
Peace,
I
love, and hippos.
loved hippos.
Oh my gosh, where did you find this stuff?
I don't even know where it came from either, but I remember one time at the dinner table, my dad said that he found a fact that hippos were the most dangerous
I was gonna
creatures
say.
in the world.
They are?
And I
They kill the most like humans a year.
bawled.
What?
I was so mad at him. Like I remember like just scream crying that he would ever dare say something about
You
hippos.
liar.
I was like, don't say that about hippos.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
so sad. But but that's just more of just like a weird obsession. But like an actual phase me and my best friend Matthew went through. Oh my gosh, we were obsessed. I think I've told you guys about this before, and I don't think you remember the show. Do you remember the show Whale Wars?
Okay,
That
I remember
sounds
you
familiar.
talking about this.
It was on like Animal Planet, and it was basically it was called Whale Wars, and they were the sea shepherds, and they would go out and interfere with the Japanese whaling ships. Yeah,
Whoa,
The
I didn't
Nish-
know about that.
Yep. They were trying to take down the Nishon Maru and all of their like whaling things, and like Matthew and I literally were like, when we are of age, we are applying and we are going to work on the ship. We're gonna be cooks, we're gonna be whatever they need us to be. Like Matthew, like I remember for his birthday, like I bought him like a Sea Shepherd like flag, and it like hung in his room for like years. We would watch like every single episode. We were obsessed with Whale Wars. It was so good. But it was just a rogue ass thing because I don't think anyone else in our class even probably knew what Whale Wars was, but we were so into it.
That is pretty niche.
It was so good.
But the passion
The passion.
and the animal conservation of it all, honestly.
honestly, a good thing for a kid to be obsessed with.
the
Yeah.
world could use a little more of that.
Yeah. And by like season 4 or something, they like stopped whaling in Japan. So it was like a good
Gorgeous.
cause. They did like start up again, which is really sad. But yeah, I was obsessed with Whale Wars. for
My
sure.
sister was obsessed with Shamu related.
The freeing of
Controversial.
Shamu or the entertainment
where
of
does she
Shamu?
fall? on the
She
aisle?
wanted to be, well, this is when she was younger, you know, when everyone thought SeaWorld was
Pre-Blackfish.
pre-Blackfish era. she, with all her heart, wanted to be a animal trainer, like the dolphin trainers, and then graduate to the orcas. And we had
Graduate to the orcas.
what felt like life-size orca stuffed animals to practice swimming with them on the floor
So
and like standing up on them. We recreated every single ride and area of SeaWorld with Polly Pocket, with little toys and things we had picked up from like littlest pet shops, like, and we recreated SeaWorld in our room.
Whoa.
She was so obsessed with SeaWorld and with like Shamu and wanting to be an orca trainer.
Wow. Great. Gosh. Sometimes though I zoom out. We had Shuka, I think was ours. But just the fact that there's just like a Shuka, like giant ass like orca whale on the side of the highway in Vallejo, California.
And
just, like,
no
is
one,
so baffling
no one
to
thought
me.
that was bad before.
No.
Like we went years.
Yeah.
Yo, wait, did you have any amusement perks?
We have a Marine World or Discovery Kingdom, Six Flags in Vallejo. All right, well, we love the phase.
We love
We
a
love a
phase.
phase.
It's just a phase.
It's just a
Just
phase.
thank God. I mean, and honestly though,
But like
to
I'd
be a
revisit that
parent,
phase any day. Like I could
Absolutely.
rewatch
dive back
Whale
in.
Wars. We're going to Japan, and I think you need
Going.
to find a small theater troupe.
Honestly, we could all use a little theater in our life.
Gosh.
We already-
Here we are. Lights, camera, action. So
Right, we're
I was about to
rolling.
say, I feel like we already found it.
right.
This is our theater. This is our stage.
Okay. Well, now that we rambled long enough, we're going to get to the content that everyone is highly anticipating hearing.
Dying to hear.
Dying to hear. My mom and everyone else on this earth.
Honestly, like the next person that asks, I'm like, please fast forward to timestamp 2442
Oh, honestly.
for the full debrief.
We were joking. People were texting in group chats with the three of us being like, how did it go? And we were like, you have to listen to the pod.
You have to wait till next one.
Sorry, y'all.
All right, dive in, ladies. I haven't heard much about it, so I want to hear every detail.
Yeah, we have been good about like not spilling all the deets.
It's hard for us.
It's really hard for us. Big chirpers. But so the day was on Wednesday. We went to like a pretty divey-ish bar.
Mega divey, like
yeah, make it divey.
cash only, like all these signs on the wall. It's like no complaining, no whining, no,
No
texting.
glasses and no asses on the pool table.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my gosh.
We
but-
felt right at home.
We felt right at home, but we were walking up to the bar, and like Claire and I, of course, are just like doing like the mini panic attack. I think you have in every time before you like go into a date. Like the best part about it though, about a double date, is that you're going through the hell that is logistically planning how the date will commence with a friend, which makes it so much easier. But of course, like we walk up to the bar and like make eye contact with both of them sitting at a booth
Through the window.
through the window. And then we're like hiding behind the table, like doing like boogie checks, like gum, like doing pit sniffs.
Teeth.
Like,
Boogie. Pits. We good?
we good? All right, let's go in.
No, they were sitting in a booth. We sat down. It was like, I feel like it flowed pretty much like great off the bat.
Yeah.
They were super easy to talk to. A little bit young, little on the
Children!
little on the younger side.
Boys!
How old are they?
They were boys. And
Well,
it's fine.
It was fine. They graduated, though, this past May. So, class of 2022.
They were born in the 2000s.
Born in the 2000s!
And
Which is, like, so
hive inducing a little.
hive-inducing. But they, like, it wasn't, like, a crazy obvious thing. It just was, like, a, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Because I would say, arguably, two of the most formative years of your 20s. So far, I'm only, barely even halfway through. But, like, I feel like those first 2 years out of college, like, you really...
Huge.
You shape up, you change a lot.
Totally. And there's something about, like, I feel like anyone identifies this with, like, you move to a new city.
Yeah.
And you get your bearings and you've made friends and you find your places and everything like that. And it's just, like, there's something about guys being fresh to the city that's, like, I don't know. It's, like, a little bit of an ick where you're like,
Oh, really? I don't think that.
really?
Well, also, they had been here for 6 months, so it wasn't, like, super fresh.
Yeah. I just think about, like, all the places that we went to when we were so new. And I'm just like, ooh. But, like, it's not a big deal, but it's just kind of like,
Well, they didn't take us to Niagara, so that's fine.
thank God. Thank God. No, this bar was totally our speed. We were just chit-chatting off the bat, and then we played pool, which I feel like is a great, like, you need an activity.
An activity was great for the double date because when we first sat down, like you said, it was, like, fine, but, like, it is just, like, a lot of, like, covering your bases, like, questions, but, like, kind of going in an awkward-ish circle of, like, and you, okay, and well, me, and Claire,
for
take
the
it away.
little
What do you
miss?
do?
Round robin, if you will.
Yeah.
Let's go around the horn.
Literally going around the horn.
So the pool was like a good interaction.
You're shuddering at going around the horn.
And Claire and I started off with classic order, Bud Lights. And then once we started playing pool, you know, it was loser bites drinks. And then we switched over to what they were drinking, some whiskey gingers.
You little
and then
pygmies.
We did.
Oh yeah.
Probably like 5 rounds of drinks.
5 rounds on a Wednesday, and we started at 6:30.
And I drank a glass of wine and a White Claw before.
Oh, when we say we were blasted with 22-year-old kids on a Wednesday night.
No, the kids and their cougars.
The kids and the cougs. I literally looked at my mans and I go, "So you like older women?"
Oh my god.
He was like, "Well, since you're older, I feel like I gotta say yes." I was like, weird answer.
Was a simple yes.
Right.
Simple yes or no.
So me and my partner were like, no, we.
My partner and
My
I.
partner.
No, my partner in pool.
Yeah, my pool partner.
Not my life partner.
Should we give them code names? I feel like maybe it's
Okay, wait,
easier. Okay. What do you want yours
Let's
to
pick,
be?
like atrocious names.
For the purposes of our storytelling, we're going to be referring to them as Skip and Chip,
Yes.
our dates.
Yes.
Anyway, so we're playing pool.
Wait, but also first to start because because we're saying Skip was the one that I was kind of more partnered up with.
Yeah.
Skip is your partner.
Chip was who you were like paired off with.
Mhm.
But also I feel like we didn't know going into the date that it was going to be like, are we all dating each other?
Right. Is this a group date? Is this like
Wait,
a
that's a
partner
good
off?
question.
Like I
What
didn't
is
know
the
going into
normalcy
it of
about
like,
that?
all right, am I getting 2 dates for the price of one? Or is it
Right.
I talked with this guy on Hinge and we're both being friends, so clearly we're, you know.
I think that's the proper double date etiquette, I will
Yeah.
say, is like, because POV, you're actually going to partner for pool, and the guy that you were communicating with
It's hitting on
picks
your friend.
Icky.
Weird vibes.
Yep.
Weird vibes
And
immediately.
if you met via a dating app, that person essentially is matching with you.
Yeah, matched with
That's
you.
so true.
Because we didn't exchange any other photos before. Like, I feel like we've had past situations where we're trying to set up a double
Yeah.
date, and like, you kind of do the like courtesy, like, this
is
is my friend.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you find them attractive?
right? Do you fancy them?
Do you fancy them, babe?
Totally gets like a pulse check, but we raw dogged it.
Just
We went in
absolute
blind,
raw dogged
which
it.
honestly I kind of love. Like, no reason to get in your head about whether or not you
Yep.
think Chip is cute. Like, you just show up and you meet Chip on the spot. And he was chipper. Chip was chipper.
Oh, nice.
But
Word up.
me and Skip were just winning every round of pool. Not much of my help. Like, I was playing probably the worst game of pool I've ever.
And we were getting wiped on the
I was
floor.
doing so fucking badly.
Were Chip and
But
Skip good?
Skip was very good. Chip.
Chip? No, I'm
You have to say it.
I'm horrible at pool.
No, but you were doing.
But I was
you were doing
way better than Chip, and it was kind of hilarious. Like, I randomly made this like trick shot, and I was like,
amazing shot.
that's right. Like, Cougartown. Been around the block.
Been around the block.
Played a lot more pool than you, brother. Not at all. Anyway, so now we're like 4 whiskey sours in, at least. And we're playing on like our 3rd, 4th round of pool, and Chip
Finally.
has his big break. He makes like 3 balls in a row. And me being myself and not being able to not fuck with him. I literally look at him and I'm like, you have never been sexier.
Me and Skip fucking lose it. We're like dying.
Chip's like laugh blushing.
Chip got chipper.
Chip got chipper.
So funny. Oh my gosh.
But honestly, like in that moment, to me, Chip had never been sexier.
That's so true.
Because he was
Of all
blowing
moments.
it before, and
Of
then
all
all of a
moments.
sudden,
Yeah.
I was like, we're turning things around.
And then, you know, we're kind of like deciding like, which also these boys originally wanted to go to dinner with us afterwards. And we were like, that won't be happening. We're not getting dinner. Like that is that's too much for a first
Double date dinner? I don't
So
think
instead,
so.
you took them.
Wait. So then,
Ma'am.
Well, I just say then you took them to a more intimate spot.
We took him to a slice of home.
well, we were like, are we going to go to another bar? Should we get some sort of food? And I think it was Claire just kind of lightly nudged like, well, we could go to a movie.
Could see Ant-Man.
We could go to Regal.
Chip and Skip pull out their phones faster than I've ever seen in my life. Like, faster than we would have pulled out our phones. And they're looking at movie times, and we go, no, boys, do we have the spot?
We got the app.
Got the app.
Did you guys pay for their tickets?
We did.
We did.
Oh, that's nice.
Because at that point, these poor little boys were dishing out dollar bills.
Throwing down cash.
No, but
I
honestly,
honestly
you get
think-
the Regal points.
No, honestly, 20,000 credits right there.
That's
I'm
like
almost
a free
at Ruby
popcorn and a
status.
free drink.
It's true.
Yeah, they were very gentlemanly. They paid
were.
for damn near everything. They literally, when we bought their tickets, like, we'll Venmo you. And I'm
I
like,
know.
you gotta chill.
It was like, Papa's got it.
Like, Cougartown's got it. Don't
Mommy
you
has
worry.
it.
Don't you worry. So yeah, there we found ourselves on our way to Regal, but not before stopping at their apartment. Let's just say to drink more.
Yeah.
Because, we hadn't had enough rounds yet. So we just thought we'll get a little bit more liquored up before we head there.
Liquored
Because
up.
I feel like we have to tell them about us roasting them about the D1 tennis.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Claire, fucking hilarious.
Literally, we're talking about, like, they both played D1 tennis in college.
Yes, they both play. Yes. And then we're like,
At the same school?
Mhm. That's how they know each other.
and then they're roommates. And then we were talking like sports in high school or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, like I played soccer in high school. And Chip was like, oh, like, did you ever want to play in college? And I was like, I mean, I feel like everyone wants to play in college, and then you kind of got to get real with yourself. And I just realized I didn't want to play at like a super small, no-name type of school.
Just so you could play soccer.
No
Right.
name, random, liberal arts school.
And Claire chimes in.
They literally go, like your school? But, like,
But she said
says
the
the
name,
school name. Right, like, blank.
like, and everyone died. Like, it was the funniest fucking thing. Like, it was so perfect.
No, they
timing.
loved it.
They loved it.
We sound horrible, but, like, they
was,
were
like,
cracking up.
Such a well done bitchy joke. It was beautiful. I was dying.
It was hanging there waiting for me to.
It really was.
This guy
Scoop it
seemed
out.
And you
really
literally,
piped up
like-
by his, like, very minuscule athletic career.
Not minuscule. I don't want to shit.
No,
on
no,
him,
I
too.
mean, D1 tennis is.
Yeah.
D1 tennis at the end of the day.
But also at the end of the day, Chip did Google himself in front of you.
That's what I'm getting at. So.
While they beat us, so they were like playing the next people at the table, and so I'm sitting with Chip. I'm like, come sit, and here we go on the spectators bench. Let's chit chat. He starts telling me, he's like, yeah, well, I'm like a famous tennis player. Like, I could have been a famous baseball player, though. Like, I really had to make a pivotal choice in
Famous?
8th grade. It's all relative. He starts Googling himself. Never have I ever had a man Google himself to show me the search results of what come up. And I'm like,
Terrifying.
okay. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm on Google too. I take his phone. I Google myself. First thing is my like mob wife ass looking point B headshot.
Is it?
And I was like, that's me. And he goes,
Mob
hey,
wife.
well, you're the first result. And I was like, I know, big on SEO.
That's fucking hilarious.
But
But anywho, so after their apartment, we walked to Regal, which also these boys kept
throwing cash.
Throwing cash.
Their
But
apartment, huge.
huge.
Multiple levels, multiple balconies, elevator.
Oh my
I
god,
love
humbling.
going into anyone in New York's apartment
know.
because I just love to like see what people are working with.
Love to see how you live.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's so interesting. But anywho, so we're walking to Regal, and like these boys kept like trying to direction check us of like, are we sure we're going the right way? We're like, we could be on 57th Street. Like we're finding our way to Regal. Like it doesn't matter where in the city we are.
The
Like
map is burned in our
it's
brain.
burnt, like etched.
It's our North Star.
We're
X
getting
marks
there.
the spot.
Like just follow us. So we get to Regal.
No, we stop at a bodega.
Oh yeah, we stopped at a bodega.
Get more drinks.
Get more drinks.
They buy them all.
my Lord.
I accidentally poke Katie in the eye. It was a whole debacle.
In the eye.
We go to Regal.
Go to Regal. These boys get us 2 giant tubs of popcorn, waters, the whole shebang. And then we go into Ant-Man theaters damn near empty except for these poor souls next to Chip and Claire. And then it's us.
Chip
Chip trying to make a move?
Chip was a chirper.
No, Skip made a move. Chip, I think, knew to stay in his lane. He kept
His
like
recliner.
so these recliners like he's like looking at the Skip and Katie situation. I think was like, do I do what you're doing? And so I'm sitting there, right, like minding my own damn business, like popcorn, like literally POV, up, recline, munching my popcorn to the point where he's saying like, wow, you really like popcorn. I'm like, yeah,
Shut up, Chip.
pipe down, Chip. So I'm munching my corn. And I think he, his elbow is creeping over the rest a little bit. And I'm like,
Foul.
I see what you're doing here. And I think he's like trying to figure out if it's logical to insert said arm, and the recliner is going up a little bit, down a little bit, up. I was like, are you looking for like the perfect geometric angle to insert yourself? Because I'm going to tell you.
Adjusting his seat
Yes.
to try and get the arm around.
I'm stagnant, eating my popcorn, and he's like, zzz, 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 zzz. I'm like, fuck's going on here? Because I
Pick a
can tell
position.
you, there ain't an angle in this world where your arm goes around me.
Imagine fish hooking a girl in a reclining seat.
Oh, imagine it. I lived it.
I thought they were kissing.
No, we were not. But
Let the record show. But I was like, oh no, because I swear
these Regal recliners, they're hefty technological machines.
they
Okay?
are well built.
And you're working with like 6 inches of real estate in between you and the next chair. Okay.
I can't believe they let you operate that heavy machinery.
And
I shouldn't have.
they and this man did the classic like reach over.
Did you do one of those? Oh.
He wasn't that subtle about it. But there we are, just like over this like 6-inch like handrail of like a seat, just like this. It was
cute.
It ended up being much more natural than I'm explaining it. But in the beginning, before like settling into it, it was just like,
The mechanics of it all.
what the fuck are we? Is this gonna be the next 3 hours of this long ass Marvel movie? Like,
Was
What
it?
are we doing? Yeah, that was that.
I would have
But
paid good money to see you and Skip making out in 2
We did not
reclining
make out.
seats.
We did not even kiss.
No, but I would have paid. And Claire and her man's
glued to opposite
glued to
I'm
opposite
literally
sides of
like
the chair.
giving this man the eye, like, don't you dare try.
And he is talking at full volume, which is my
I couldn't believe it. This man was talking so much, and it got to the point. Okay, it's one thing, I guess, if you're gonna talk during a movie, but you have questions about said movie. It's another thing to just like make conversation. And I literally looked at him and I said, "You're not telling me you're one of those. You're not telling me you're a guy that talks to me. Don't be that guy.
and the
Don't be that guy."
There's
The craziest part is I think that the movie was long because we got home at 1 a.m. The movie felt like 35 minutes.
actually so quick.
It breezed by. It was horrible.
It was so bad.
It was really bad.
No, POV, it's 10:30. They left at 6. So I'm concerned that they're in the Hudson River floating into the Atlantic. And so I text them,
the Atlantic.
the Atlantic. I'm like, all right, we living? Are they chopping up your bodies? Where are you?
No, we could have taken them so hard.
So hard.
They're like, we're going to Regal. You want to come see a movie?
we literally asked him, like, do you want to come?
It's like,
To get you a seat.
hard pass.
I forgot
Thank
we
you, though.
invited you. Oh my
And then
10:50 p.m. at night.
I'm
Hard
in
pass.
Hard pass.
I'm
Think
good.
so.
It's a Wednesday.
You know what?
Okay.
I don't need to do that. I'm in bed and I finally hear footsteps into our apartment. It's 1:30 a.m. Nearly 2 a.m. that these people come home from a date.
7-hour date.
7-hour date.
It was a full work day.
They say that you should always try to keep the first date brief, get in, get out. We
No.
quadrupled the time that a normal person spends on a date.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these poor blokes. But also, like, you're welcome. Best night of your life.
Best night of your life. It was so
Chip, at one point,
hilarious.
whispers into my ear, I think you're my dream girl. What?
I'm like, sorry.
Oh, really? At this point, I'm chewing with my mouth open. Get back, Chip.
So fucking
I ain't your
funny.
fucking lane. Recline. Recline. Eyes on the screen, Buster. My God.
You know what? You
So,
got the experience.
No second date for Chip? That's honestly the beauty of the situation, though, is Chip
Love.
has no way to reach out to Claire.
He doesn't
phone
even know my
number.
last name.
They don't even know. Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
know my last name.
I've got no phone
That's a
number,
country
no
song
last
somewhere.
name.
It
It's
really
literally
is.
Carrie Underwood. I
No,
don't
it
even
is.
know my last-
don't even know his last name.
Oh, here we are singing
And I
again.
don't want to know it, to be honest. I had it was a beautiful evening, hilarious. I'll
fun.
treasure it forever. Chip and I are just not one true pair. We're not OTP, and that's it.
OTP. Honestly, this man has just said that he would play horse with me, and I've been trying to get Hannah and Claire to play horse with me since we've moved in.
The dawn
His
of
apartment.
time.
Quite literally for 2 years.
So I'm just hoping date 2 is playing horse.
The fun with the double date didn't stop there. Obviously, we had a bit of a late night. We kind of tied one on with the boys.
Right.
And then I woke up the next day and I was like, I'm fucking tired as shit, yo.
Fucking run it back.
I was like
Put that on a shirt. I'm fucking tired as shit, yo.
I was like a really sad excuse for a human on Thursday. Like I slept in. I barely did any work. I think I ordered DoorDash twice.
Like you were walking around fully hung, and I'm like, y'all all right? And they're like, I just don't know why I don't feel good. I'm like, well, you were on a date. You smashed 8 whiskey sours
and got legitimately 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You did 2 full work days. It makes sense.
literally. And then, had date number 2 on Thursday.
With Love and Key Foods Man.
Love and Key Foods Man, yeah. Like in Key Foods.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
Just, let's get crazy now. But yeah, so we went out for drinks, and I was like, felt bad, as I was definitely like tired. I was a little bit of a dud.
Chip got the best of you.
Chip got my best, I'll be honest.
Can't recreate magic.
Great thing is, this guy was a chatterbox. I thought I was a chatterbox, but I've been surpassed, which was honestly nice because I didn't have much to say. I was so effing zooted. I was like, he was like, I'm gonna get an espresso martini, and normally I wouldn't dare have an espresso martini on a school night if there wasn't like a following activity. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not chugging espresso at 8 p.m. if there's no after party. But I was like, you know what? Get me one of those.
Plus one.
This is gonna be so sexist, but I've never seen a man order an espresso martini before.
That's fair.
Really? I feel like guys like them. I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't make sense why they should be inherently female.
Yeah, it wasn't like an ick or anything. It was like, man, we're just having espresso martinis together. And he, he's busy. He's busy around the city. He's a very busybody. I don't know what I'm saying. He does a lot. He gets out a lot. He knows everybody. He's very into like his culture and somehow like tracks everyone down that is of the same culture as him, which like I kind of love. I think that's fabulous. But I also was like, oh my god, wow. He's like, and then the equivalent of like the next thing I'm talking to the guy and he's Italian and I'm Italian and we're all Italian and I go to this diner because everybody there's Italian. And I'm like, holy fuck, okay. Like I literally had to roast him, of course, and I was like, oh, so your personality trait is that you're like, and then every time he said it, and then I met this guy and I'm like, oh, was he like, I couldn't live it down. I couldn't drop it, of course.
Roasting men.
But yeah, I mean, it was overall good-ish. I don't know if there's like a love.
Wait, talk about
vibe.
the theory. The text theory.
Oh, yes. But yeah, it was like a couple hours, like pretty standard, and I think I was like 50-50. Like I don't really know how I feel. Like had a great time, but I was like, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's romantic, I don't know, but I'm leaning more towards friend at the moment. But couldn't tell if he felt the same way because there wasn't like vibes when we left. Like we just kind of like hugged and parted ways, and I think he said like the obligatory like, yeah, we should do this again next week or something, which like I feel like everybody says at the end of the date just to like appease you or whatever and make you feel good about it. But there is this TikTok from the podcast We Met at Acme, and she says like, if you go on a date and you don't know how that person feels about you, don't text after the date. Like let them text you, because obviously if you off the bat say like, oh, I had a great time, like thanks so much, would love to see you again, they're of course going to respond something like, yeah, totally, like had a great time, like something like that. Like so you get zero indication of how they actually feel independent from like your response that they feel obliged to like address. Yep. So she says if you're on the fence and you want to know how they maybe feel about you, don't say anything, because granted you've probably already said thank you on the date or whatever, so there's no need to like follow up and say it again. And so I didn't hear from him all night or all morning, and I was like, you know what, I don't think there's a vibe. But then later this afternoon he texted me and was like, last night was so much fun, let's do something again this week. So I'm like, okay, I would give it a second date, so we'll see.
All right.
And you know what? Theories aside, I'm just fucking proud of us for getting out there twice in 1 week.
And they're going on a second double date next week.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
stop.
forgot about that.
Like we're kind of like booked and busy, you guys, with this prompt. Like it's like firing on all cylinders.
So this is a message to all the girlies or the guys out there. It's a great like CTA prompt on dating profiles. Plus, if you haven't gone on a date in a while, it's a great way to get into dating again when you have like a buddy with you. And then it just turns into just like a hangout type thing / assess the vibes. But change your Hinge or Bumble answers to looking for someone to go on a double date with. But the only downside that we're saying, because I was saying like I would go on a second date with Skip, is
And
that
I, not Chip.
Sinclair, not Chip. Is that I feel like our second date will literally be like a first. Like we need a first date now, because like I could probably rattle off like 3 main facts about this kid. Like I don't know a lot, just because I feel like a double date setting is just more of like a vibe thing rather than like let's get to know you, and
Which is valuable to
Which is
like
so
assess
valuable.
vibes and
Yes.
see if you're like compatible and you have that chemistry. But I think it's harder. We were talking about like the double date to love conversion. I think is a little bit harder than like a first date to a second date to a
Yes.
third date. Like it's hard, I think, to like make it off the double date and turn it into something, especially if like all 4 of you aren't mutually interested.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
What I do think is great about double dates, though, is it's a lot easier to just lead with yourself. You're not.
Yes,
You're
I was
not-
so much more myself because I knew I had a crush.
You
of,
have
like,
someone
Claire.
that you're comfortable with and that you normally can be yourself with to give you the permission to be yourself with in front of these other people and them you. So I feel like there's a lot less pressure and there's a lot just lead in with who you are. So it's probably a lot easier to pick up on either mannerisms that you don't like or pieces of conversation, because I feel like first date everyone's on their best behavior and everyone's a little bit more buttoned up. So it's probably easier to get a gut punch on, is this person someone I could want to get to know a little bit more. I mean, clearly both of you got that gut punch, whether you really know them that much or not. And then you can just dive into the personal questions in round 2.
Totally. Yeah.
it was so much easier like having to minimize the awkward first date logistics. Like, can we talk about that for a second?
Yes,
like
please. Because it keeps me awake at night, the night before a date.
it's like once you're ass in seat and you are 2 to 3 minutes into conversation flowing, you're like, man, I'm so crazy for even being that like nervous or awkward or like worked up about anything. This is so unbelievably fine. I'm having a great time, like whatever. But the leading up to it all, the like, okay, well, he texted me a reservation, but like it's 5:00 the day of and I haven't heard, like, should I text them? And I'm like, it's so one of those things where you're like, it's not that deep and I shouldn't care this much, but like, why is this also so effing awkward
Right.
all at the same time? And like, when you get to the destination at the same time, or like you're early and then you clock them from like 50 yards away, are you supposed to make eye contact the whole time, or should you like be antisocial and look at your phone? And
Are you
like,
supposed to wait for them outside of the establishment? Do you go in?
right? I don't know. Like, there's all these things. Like, do you go for a hug, a side hug,
Right.
a handshake? God willing,
Oh
I
my God,
don't
no.
know.
But I don't.
Like,
but you go there in your head of like, what's the appropriate thing to
yes,
do?
and then you like hesitate, and like that's what adds that like flavor of awkwardness. Of course, my luck, I'm like walking there and I hear my name and I'm like, oh great, he's behind me, and I've been zhuzhing my hair and putting on lip gloss. Like, thank God I didn't pick my fucking wedgie, because like, could you imagine? No, I was like, I hate the logistics of it all. I hate when the bill comes and you do the like,
There is a lot.
Well, with those takes,
Let's
should
dive
we take
deeper
it
into love.
More love.
Let's analyze more love, because we're so equipped for it.
oh my God, the credentials are through the roof with this bunch. As you know, we're addicted to Love Island. We binge watch like it's our job. So
we made up a lot of work since the last episode, so we're going to be roughly covering up until episode 27 today.
Yep, 18 through 27. I think we've got a couple burning questions that have emerged from this handful of episodes. I think biggest thing that was kind of like the theme is Casey versus Ron.
Justice for Casey.
King Casey. That man is hotter than Ron, funner than Ron, cuter than Ron. Like, I'm sorry, but like, what is Ron giving at this point?
I loved Casey in those little denim shorts. He had the best outfit by far.
Like, justice for Casey, honestly, like, Lana has been consistently one of my favorite people in the villa, but like, she properly mugged off Casey in that moment.
Proper mugged
After
him.
she ended things with Casey, threw in, which, like, I have so much sympathy for her, because I feel like I could
Totally.
say something roguish shit like that afterwards too, of the wing woman comment.
Oh my gosh, spew shit on the pod. They're recording you 24/7. We'd be spewing shit
I'm
24/7.
sure I would say
We wouldn't have a
shit like
prayer.
that.
We don't have a prayer.
I'm sure. But then to, like, turn around 10 minutes later and start making out with Ron, and then Casey turns around and sees it, it just was such a bad fucking look.
What's hard is they're not in a bar. They're in such a enclosed thing. And the more I learn about...
They're in a zoo.
They're in a zoo. The more
Zoo enclosure.
The more I hear about the production of it all, they're not allowed to go in certain rooms at certain times. And the producers have a lot, I think, more to do with it than we think. But to your point, Katie, like, could we have maybe been a little bit more aware of where he was at that moment?
I just also think it's sad. Like, I was so happy for her when she chose Casey.
Yes.
Me too.
And I think we all knew that she was going to find her way back to Ron. Why she didn't, not that Casey should have all been like a pawn in this. And that's the saddest part, is that he was such a pawn in it. But I also think too, I'm like, if you're going to make him your pawn, at least give him the time of day to prove you wrong. And don't make the decision the night after. Like,
So quick.
give it one more day at least for like Ron to grovel, you to actually give Casey a chance, and then it would have been so much more valid for you to say to Casey, okay, we've had a couple days, we tried, I'm so sorry, but I'm just not feeling it, like my head is somewhere else. And like,
I think it speaks to Ron's
Crazy.
manipulation. Ron
He's
is
so
so
manipulative.
manipulative. And him saying, oh, I'm not going to talk to you when you pull me for a chat, and him saying, oh, I am not going to get to know you.
That was
It's so manipulative and
it
performative.
was performative good guy when
Yeah.
he went and talked to Casey and was like, she deserves the world, like she's just.
But
you got
he
a good
won't even
one.
talk to her.
And I think Lana is a people pleaser, and I think she's someone that really wants to toe around and make sure people's feelings aren't being hurt. And I think a lot of the reason why she went back to Ron is because she didn't want to hurt his feelings.
I think so too, which was crazy. He had zero regard for her feelings.
No.
Zero.
But she had no problem hurting Casey's feelings.
I know.
And like literally, they were getting ready for bed that night, and she was like, "I feel like I've done something wrong." And I was like, "Yeah, you honestly did. And you're
did.
one of my favorite people in this villa, but like you fucked up."
No, when she said that, I was like, yeah, girl, it was proper muggy of you to be snogging Ron.
Right after.
Like, and
100
he
feet
liked
behind
her
him.
so much.
She just really owed it to herself, to Ron, and to Casey to say to Casey, I am very happy I'm in a couple with you, but I'm still going to talk to Ron. I have feelings for him.
Well, that's yeah.
We're going to continue to still get to know each other. We are not in an exclusive couple here. Because if
Right.
she would have said that, it would have made the entire solution or the entire conversation a ton better. But the fact that she didn't correct him or interrupt him when he said, I'm so happy we're not in this throuple situation anymore, it really made the entire situation so much more muggy.
Yeah.
And I was so sad to see just Ron eating up that gratification.
And I think you know it's so bad when like the other guys in here are the bar so low for how they also treat women. Like Tom was being an absolute fucking savage the
Messy
week
Tom.
before. And even he was like, Lana, girl, be careful. Like, this ain't it. And like, that's when you know. And then like
I love
divide.
the morning after
Mhm.
when they put Ron in his place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's like this whole vibe of like just a separation between the guys.
How they feel about
Yeah.
Ron of like, well, because and I feel like Shaq has said multiple times like Ron's my best guy in here.
But
like,
he holds him accountable.
Shaq is the first one to always kind of shit on Ron. After, like,
Absolutely.
the morning chats. But it's like, because Casey said, which I love that he said, he's like, you're all talk. Like, you haven't done any action, which is so true. Like, and I just know come Casa Amor, Ron's going to absolutely flip over, turn his head, and put Lana through hell again.
Absolutely.
Heart rate challenge. How fucking ironic was it that his heartbeat was raised the most by the new bombshell? It just speaks to the pattern. He
loves a new shiny
loves a new shiny toy. Anyone that walks in there, he is all eyes for. I think if he didn't get as much criticism as he did for the entire situation, and if Lana hadn't chosen someone over him, he would have 100% tried to see what's the new bombshell's name?
Claudia.
I 100% think he would have tried to see vibes with Claudia, because he said how many times that she was his type on paper, the exact type of person.
Did you say that about Claudia?
That
Yeah.
was about Sammy.
I thought that was about
Oh,
Sammy,
was
too.
it?
Yeah. Casey's type on paper is Claudia.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Correct.
And
Thank you.
And Tom's.
But honestly, he was stunned by her.
Oh, absolutely. He always is.
Literally any girl
He's a
wants it.
scoundrel. Like, he's a flaming scoundrel. Like, he just... but you know what, though? He's genuinely delusional. Like, I don't even think he's that tactical. I think he actually is just that out of touch that he, like, will say consistently, like, I'm 100%, like, you're my part. And I think that he genuinely believes it.
I think he comes from a good place.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to be a good guy, and he knows how to, but he cannot, for the life of him, follow through.
No, he can't follow through.
He cannot follow through.
But he loves to, like, make the blanket statements that he associates with good guy behavior.
Yes. Like the talking to
Yes.
Casey thing, I was like,
I want to move respectfully. I'm like, well, you're not doing that.
But you're not gonna. Which
Right.
Casey called him out for. Was like, if you were gonna pursue her, you should have told me that. Like,
Instead of stabbing me in a gladiator challenge.
Right. Because he said the day before, like, I'm going to respect it. I'm going to let you guys do your thing. I'm off her. Like, if I just want her to be happy. And then the next day, flipped a switch.
Can we also talk about how they were sitting around for hours in their gladiator costumes?
It's bizarro.
In deep conversations, they're like, I have such feelings for this girl. Meanwhile,
I could not take that seriously. Oh
looking
my God,
like they're
I'd
about
be
to
like,
storm the castle.
Trojan horse
1800
vibes.
BC.
My God. Okay. Moving on. Obviously, that's a shit show. Ron and Lana are going to be together. Whatever happens in Casa Amor, Lana will still be there. I'm sad for her, but that's just the damn truth. Speaking of love in all the wrong places, no, not that bad, but just kind of a little bit cuckoo cuckoo. Tanya and Shaq. L-bomb. How do we feel?
I love that they're in love. We talked about this last episode, but I am a little concerned. I do see a crumble. I think that Tanya has a wild spirit in her, and I just have a hard time thinking something isn't gonna maybe flurry up a little bit in Casa, whether it's a flirt, whether it's a not physical but like emotional connection, and then they're gonna see it in the My Movie challenge and it's gonna send Shaq. I think Shaq will be loyal. I think he will.
Shaq is a sensitive.
He's a simp.
Ass
He will be
man.
fuming.
Like, literally, I remember when they were doing the heart rate challenge, and like when he was going, Tanya was like, that's my man. Like, she was like hyping him up, and I was like, see, that's how he should have reacted in the like kissing challenge when he like literally pinned it all against her and was like, that's not how you act in a relationship. And I was just like, ew. Like, I just feel like he's gonna be so sensitive, and like anything that comes out of Casa, he'll find a reason to like put it back on her.
Yeah.
Freak out.
We already said it, but they're either gonna Jake and Liberty it, or they're gonna what's the couple? Tasha, thank you. Tasha and Andrew it. There's gonna be tests for them. This is not smooth sailing from here on out.
No, and I'm sorry. I physically cringe at them saying I love you to each other. I don't know if I'm just jaded as fuck, y'all, but like, I just think about it and I'm like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it's not even.
It seems so disingenuous coming from like it's so.
I'm like, you're in lust. I believe that you're heading towards the L word, but this ain't real love. Like
100 miles to the L word.
And like I'm kind of like thinking that Will and Jesse are like more genuinely heading towards love.
Oh, I think so. They're taking their time a lot more than Shaq and Tanya. Yes. And like, it's so one thing to say it once, but for them to keep being like, love you, babe. Like, I'm like,
also,
y'all.
We talked about, I'm sorry to create a little side tangent. We talked about how we weren't sure if Jesse was actually in it for Will. I feel like after watching their little moment in the hideaway and also her saying no to Casey on the date, I feel like she does really like Will. I don't know.
They will be tested.
They'll be tested, but I don't think either of them will.
I think they really like each other, though. I agree. I kind of am like.
So I think she's a fucking dork too.
I think she is. She's a hot dork. Yeah. 100%.
And I don't think either are going to go for other people other than just a few conversations. They both seem very loyal people.
I think it will just depend if someone comes in mad targeted for the either of them and they're like Casa Amor, tunnel vision, it's you type of thing. Maybe. But I think they will stand the test of time 100%. On a side note, can we talk about the effing kissing? I don't know if this is like a European thing, but like every time they go to kiss each other, it is so fast and rough, and there's so much
in the
tongue.
challenges or in general.
Anytime it's like, can we have a kiss? And I'm like, and there's a beautiful moment there, and then it's just like the biggest heaping spoonful of tongue you've ever seen in your life. And I just feel like, in my
They
opinion,
do go in open mouth.
Americans
like, every
don't
single
do that.
time. Yeah.
I don't know. I would rather be bald than watch myself kiss on television.
Because I just feel like they're chewing each other's faces. Like, it's too much. And even Ian Sterling made a comment. He was like, God bless the person that decided to turn the mics down for when people kiss this year. I'm just sorry. I had to get that off my chest because every time people go in for a kiss and I'm like, oh, they have such a great connection. Like, the moment is there. They ruin it by chomping on each other's faces 60 miles an hour with a heaping spoonful of tongue. I'm like, can we kiss slowly and sensually, please?
I haven't picked up on that, but I guess I will now.
That's too much for me. I also gag at that. I don't know if you guys have heard me watching it in my room where I go, no. It said that.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I gag at Danielle. I gag at the entire situation surrounding her. Her as a person, I enjoy. Her entire love scenario in this villa is so messy.
I'm so torn on Danielle. I don't know. The Ron of it all.
I want to know, are you more loyal to Ron or are you more loyal Ron?
I think she is.
Wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, because she says, depending on who she's talking to, that's my best friend in here.
Right.
It's either Ron or it's Lana. And I feel like she actively shades Lana. So I feel like we just don't see it because they have to cut so much. But I have never seen their relationship. I've never picked up on it. I feel like I see more of a good friendship with her and Liv than I do with her and Danielle. And I just feel like she so fills that unfortunate trope of like two, like a guy and a girl can't be best friends without some type of romantic fling. And also that you can't trust like a girl and a guy that are like that close, which I feel like is so not true, but it totally like adds fuel to that flame.
If I was Lana and I went to go talk to Ron after the recoupling with Casey and Danielle like interjected and was like, no, let's go talk. And then like kind of
She
girl
inserts
best friend
herself.
explained to her, like, if I was Lana, I'd be like, bitch, shut up. Like, this is not your relationship. Get out of it. Like, that, I was like, oh my god, if I was Lana, I would be fuming at Danielle right now.
She just really inserts herself in their
She just, like,
relationship.
upper hands herself so much of, like, but I'm Ron's best friend. And, like, da-da-da-da.
And I'm more important because
And I'm
of
more,
that.
yeah.
But I think we all forget the OG Ron and Danielle recoupling when Lana wanted to pick Ron, but Danielle was first, and she picked Ron instead. Because
And it
she
wasn't
was like,
as a friend thing. It was
was
I
not.
want to get to know
it
this
was
person.
like, you're the only other person here that I see potential interest in. I'm gonna pick Ron, and I think that's the precipice of it all.
and
Had
her
that not
heart was
happened-
raised the most by Ron in the heart rate challenge.
Had that not happened, and they had ended up together because Danielle was the last to pick, and Lana was like, "Fuck you, Ron, I'm picking someone else." Then I think there'd be a little bit more credibility to the whole "there's no vibes" thing here. But like her outwardly picking him in the beginning, she ended up being coupled up with Ron more than Lana had been.
I forgot that.
Them spooning each other, wrongo,
So
wrongo. Yeah. And like in front of Lana, especially when Danielle had picked Ron. And I don't know, too much like, I love you, busty. Like, I don't care what L-bombs are getting dropped in here. None of them are legitimate yet to me. So I'm glad she left because I think it will give Lana a little bit more room to breathe with Ron. And I think Danielle kind of validated Ron's behavior.
Who left?
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Okay.
What episode are you on?
Danielle's gone.
Danielle's gone?
Fucking A.
I'm sorry.
I just wish I would have seen where that would have gone.
Me too.
What would have gone? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
I wish
like,
I would have seen.
how the Ron and Danielle of it all would have.
Yeah, because her getting sent home, I feel like nips it in the bud, and no way we can follow them after the show airs. But I could so see at the end of this all something weird happening between them, whether it's the two girls or Danielle and Ron at a bar after it's all aired and
Yeah.
they're out in the public and it's not scrutinized by the entire UK public. I could so see something weird happening. No, that is a fucking clip of both Katie and I being like, what?
She's gone. I was like, wait, why are you guys so confused? Casa Moore's around the corner. Let's go couple by couple, stick or twist.
Shaq and Tanya will stick, but I think there will be a little bit of drama around
A little
them.
bit of naughty behavior that will emerge later. 100%. Ron and Lana, done. Twist. Twist, but then stick. Let's be real.
I think Ron will walk in with someone new, and I think
You think he'll walk in with someone new? I think it's.
I don't
gonna
think
be a
he'll walk
Jackson
in.
Paige situation where he'll be like, "Oh, I missed you so much." Then the girl's like,
Well,
"Well, I
really?
thought that Ron was gonna pick me. I thought Ron was gonna pick me. I actually thought Ron was gonna pick me."
He likes
Yeah,
my tit or
you're right.
whatever. He likes my tit
He
or
likes my
whatever.
tit or whatever.
Ron's gonna pull a tit licker.
it's Titgate.
It's-
It's gonna be
it's
Titgate
giving.
with it. Yeah,
Tit lick gate all over again.
Yeah.
Mhm. He's gonna find his Coco.
it's one of the two.
Pray for Coco.
Pray
Pour
for
one out.
Coco.
Poor Coco, honestly.
Kai and Liv, I don't see sticking.
Liv is gonna find someone new in Casa if she doesn't until
Ooh.
then.
I don't know. I think they might stick. I don't know though.
No, I think Liv is gonna walk in with someone new, and I think Kai will stick
Oh, sad little boring.
because
bear.
no one's gonna be interested in Kai. He's boring as hell.
Well, Tanya's not there.
Sorry, y'all.
Well, how many usually go to Casa? Is it 5 or is it 6? I don't
6
know.
new girls. 6 new girls and 6 new
New
guys
boys.
into the villa.
All right. Well, that leaves
Will and
Tom.
Jesse, they'll stick.
They'll stick. I don't think there'll be any tests for them. That's my prediction.
We'll see.
I think there'll be tests.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll twist.
I don't think.
they'll twist.
I don't even think they'll entertain anyone else. I think.
Like temptations, not tests.
Yeah, there'll be temptations, but I don't think there'll be tests.
Sammy and Tom, I think twist. No
I
way.
could see them both walking in with
Not
new
a
people.
prayer. Not a prayer. Is that it? Is that everyone? Casey.
I hope he finds love. Justice for Casey.
Casey, our DMs are open. We love you, King. Love you, King. In case it doesn't work out, little mini Bradley Cooper. Gorgeous.
He is a little mini Bradley
so
Cooper.
cute, love. But yeah,
Anything else we want to tell the BT stuffers before we head off?
Katie does have some parting words for you all. It's
Very important. I don't even know about that, but
Oh, you do? Yes, you do.
well, as we grow this moguldom, as we like to call it, the empire pending, we just want to remind you guys that it would just ever so be advantageous to us if you subscribe on YouTube. We found out that you can leave reviews on Spotify, which is just a nifty little feature, and there are 5-star options, so
Guess what we gave ourselves?
5-star option, please. So leave a review. I don't really know what you do on Apple Podcasts, but if you figure it out, give us the highest rating that you can. And follow us on Instagram. We're trying to hit 500 by the next episode. And yeah, follow us on TikTok, Big Time Stuff Podcast. Also on Instagram, Big Time Stuff Podcast. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday at 11 a.m. and 8 a.m. sharp. And as
That's our
always,
show, folks.
we love ya. Bye!